So, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and in this video, we are going to be reviewing the Divine Punishment Assault Rifle. Alright, so before we get into the video, I just got one thing that I want to say. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, look, if you subscribe to the channel, what that does for me is it not only builds the channel, or builds it to where, I can start pumping out better produced videos and stuff for y'all. What else it does is it'll allow me to purchase more protein and more creatine, because I need it. So anyways, guys, without wasting time, let's just get straight into the video. Alright, guys, so here it is with the Divine Punishment. In my personal opinion, it looks pretty nice, especially once you start stacking up the buffs from the unique ability, and it starts getting like this little glow effect thing. It looks really cool. I think it's a pretty interesting looking weapon, so aesthetically, it passes. So we're not here for aesthetics. Let's get straight into the weapon breakdown, starting with its unique ability. Alright, so the unique ability of the Divine Punishment, which is an ultimate assault rifle, is called Prayer. Now, as you see, I do have mine at like level 2. So I'll be reading, I'll go ahead, because I have it on here what level 1 stats are. So I'll go ahead and read the level 1 stats. So you'll be able to see, like, I'll read the level 1 stats. So you'll see on the screen level 2 stats, but then I'll also show on the screen like normal level 4 stats. So you'll be able to see that as well. So let's go ahead and get right into this. So granting a buff to your allies, excluding yourself, will grant the unique effect Meditation to yourself. Recovering an ally's HP, shield, MP, custom resource, excluding yourself, will grant the unique effect Praise to yourself. Inflicting a debuff on an enemy will grant the unique effect Glory to yourself. So I'm really gonna hit on Glory, and obviously I'll go over the Meditation and Praise, but we're really gonna touch on Glory here. Also Meditation. Well, whatever. We're gonna go over the whole weapon. So anyways, basic information. So like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and read to you guys level 1. So on the screen, it's going to show level 2. And also, if you look on the right side of the screen, it's going to show level 4. So at level 1, when you just first get the weapon, you will have hipfire accuracy of -40%, aim shot accuracy of -40%. Meditation duration is 15 seconds at base level, max stacks of 3, a defense 5%, and defense per stack 5%. The buff Praise duration 15 seconds, max stacks 4 at base level, skill cooldown modifier -1%, and skill cooldown modifier per stack -1%. Glory, the final buff, duration 30 seconds, max stacks 5 at base level, firearm attack 0.4%, and firearm attack per stack 0.4%. So that's the unique ability, Prayer, and let's go ahead and hop straight into the builds. So I have 3 builds for you guys, 3 of them. And I lied, we're not going to builds, we're going to the weapons base stats. So let's get straight to that. Alright, so the Divine Punishment Ultimate Assault Rifle, it is in the general rounds category. And we have a base of 10,624 firearm attack with a fire rate of 705 and a 35 round magazine. Reload time is a 1.55 second with a critical hit rate of 10% and a firearm critical hit damage of a 1.7 times multiplier. We have a 3.85% status effect trigger rate with a 1 times weak point damage multiplier. Our hit fire accuracy is 64, aim shot accuracy is 71. Not too bad. Not too bad. So, reviewing these base stats, the firearm attack isn't really that high, so you won't be busting out crazy numbers. The fire rate is really good. Magazine size is definitely doable. Critical hit rate at the 10%. It's a little bit rough. I will not lie. It's a little rough to have it that low. But, you know, if you really want to increase that, obviously, Descendants and components can assist with that. So let's go over the first build is right here. So this will be your somewhat standard DPS build, right? So let's see what we got on here. So we have better insight for critical hit rate. We have insight focus, which is going to give us a little bit more critical hit rate and critical hit damage, 6.5% only, not too great, but still more damage. We have better concentration for critical hit damage alongside concentration priority. Yes, this is going to reduce our reload time by 30%, but that's okay, or increase it by 30%. We have action and reaction and rifling reinforcement. Action and reaction is going to make your recoil a little bit jumpier, but this weapon is pretty stable nonetheless, so it shouldn't be too hard to actually control this weapon. We have, rifling reinforcement, standard firearm attack increases. Now we went for, on this particular build, we went for half aiming. It's plus 40% weak point damage, but it also reduces our accuracy by 20%. And then we have weak point sight for another plus 35% to our weak point damage. Now, what we chose to go here, now this is for our, like I said, standard DPS build. I decided fixed shot. Now you can also replace fixed shot. Okay, this is recoil. It will increase or decrease. It'll make your recoil better. And there's a little bit weak point damage, but I would probably say go for critical hit damage, but whatever. This is the only one I had upgraded. Now, you can take out recoil depending on which one, fits you, which one's better for you. If controlling this weapon is already good with the negative accuracy and negative recoil that we're getting from these two mods, if you can still control it pretty well, I would say you could take this out and go for more accuracy. So that way, your shots aren't, spread out a little bit. It's more streamlined, more like a laser beam. So you could take that out and put something like Hawkeye in there, or you can even just put one of these aim compensation mods, or aim weak point sight, whatever you want, or Deadeye. I wouldn't do Deadeye. That 1% is no. So it's up to you what you want to do there, but I just put in this recoil one. I'm on MK, so it's not really going to benefit me too much. So, let's just take that off and put on aiming compensation. It's going to give us plus 6.5% critical hit damage. The accuracy increases negligible just because I didn't, it's not upgraded, but just for showcasing, we'll use this. Because I'll be able to control it a little bit easier than controller, just because I'm MK. So this is your standard build. This is like, if you use this, you'll definitely get some good damage out. Out of all three of these builds that I'm showing you, what I will tell you right now is that this one is the highest damage for over time, like sustained damage per magazine. We'll say that per magazine. This one hits it doesn't hit the hardest, but it hits in the middle of the two builds I'll be showing you. But this one is more constant and reliable damage. Sure, however you want to say it. So that's this build. So I'm going to show you. Now, if you're wondering why I don't have any two external components on, well, it's because I have the Acrobat memory, or the Acrobat setup right here, which, 2-piece gives you skill power and firearm attack. It's a small amount, but it doesn't matter. I went for it for the 4-piece set, which says firearm critical hit rate plus 21% and skill critical hit rate. Yeah, skill critical hit rate I don't really care for. But we're going for that firearm. So I will put these two. I won't put these last two on for now until we show like maximum potential, just because I just want to kind of showcase this weapon by itself. So as you see that we have rolled on here, bonus firearm attack versus Colossus. It's not going to benefit us right now. Firearm critical hit rate. It's a blue one, so not too great. Firearm critical hit damage, and then firearm attack. So some I8 rolls, nothing too crazy here. But yeah, so let's go ahead and show out this build. We're not going to be using any Descendant buffs. I just want to show you the weapon and itself for this particular build. So as you see, we're hitting some 124,000 crits on the head. And non-crit is a 21,000. I want to show you the body shot real quick, just in case, because we're not always going to hit headshots. About a 55,000. Well, that was 120,000 crit. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I don't understand how we're hitting a 55,000 and 120,000 on the body. Doesn't make sense to me, but you see the damage ranging from 55,000 crits to 100,000, 124,000. So that's this build. I will say, with the accuracy mod on though, me personally, I really do like it. If this person would stop shaking like a stripper, we could hit more shots, but it's super accurate, super stable. Like, my favorite weapon is the Eternal Willpower. Yes, the Eternal Willpower hits way harder, but oh my goodness, controlling that weapon sometimes is annoying. So this one is super easy to handle, super easy to control. Obviously, if you upgrade this accuracy mod, laser beam, as long as you have some decent control. So let's go over the base stats of this, and then we'll hop into build number 2. So the new base stats with all these mods placed on, we are looking at 20,504.32 firearm attack with a fire rate of 705, rounds per magazine, 35. A 20,000 firearm attack isn't too bad. I've seen worse. Reload time now is a 2.01 second reload time, so not the best, but you know, it's okay. Firearm critical hit rate is a 15.35%. Firearm critical hit damage is a 5.232 times multiplier. Attribute satisfactory rate stayed the same at a 3.85%. Weak point damage is now a 1.75 times multiplier, which is pretty nice. Hipfire accuracy is a 56.32, and aim shot accuracy is a 62.57. If you look at here, 64 and 71. So we did take a slight hit with our accuracy, but if I were to upgrade this mod, you know, we would have higher, better accuracy. So that's this build, and that's that damage. So let's go ahead and roll over to the second build now. So the second build, this one is meant for those who are weak point fiends, who have that impeccable aim where you can hit weak points practically all the time. This is you guys. This is for y'all. Or this could just be for your Colossus fighting, just because their weak points are a lot easier to hit than everywhere else in the game. So this could be your Colossus fighting, or you know, if you just have that god aim, this is for you. So we have firearm attack. Wait, let's go over the mods first. We got better insight, plus 39% critical hit rate, and then we put on edging shot. So we get plus 43% firearm critical hit rate, but we lose 15% firearm attack. The loss in firearm attack for this, as you see, is only 1,593.6 damage. It does add up once you incorporate critical hits and weak points, but it's fine. We'll be hitting a little bit more crits, hopefully, with this mod on. We have concentration priority and better insight. Concentration priority with that negative 30 reload time. We have aiming for that 40% weak point, and that's it. We didn't put on have aiming and weak point sight. We have action and reaction and rifling reinforcement. Action reaction is gonna mess up our recoil by 20%, and this is where the change really comes in. So we put on concentrate support ammo, so that way we can get a little bit more rounds per magazine. As you see, we're at 45, so it gave us 10. If you want to get more ammo, and you don't really care for that plus 6.5%, you could, you know, put this on, which will put you at a 52 round magazine. Not bad for an assault rifle, 52 rounds. So let's say you replace these two. It doesn't matter which one, just depends on what you want. Do you want a little bit more critical damage, or do you want more rounds? And then we put on Real Life Fighter. Now, Real Life Fighter is going to reduce our accuracy. So we already have minus 40% accuracy because of have aiming and Real Life Fighter. But if you decide to go the Real Life Fighter route, you can go ahead and place an accuracy mod into this slot. So, like I said, we all know what Real Life Fighter does. Hitting weak points stacks up to 10 stacks and gives you 10% firearm attack per stack. You get the gist. So this one will give you more damage once you receive more stacks than the first build, but this one isn't like a reliable damage source, especially if your aim isn't there. So let's go ahead and test out the damage. Then we'll look at the new base stats of this weapon. Let's get some ammo here. All right, so let's see. So we're already at, all right, so we are at 10 stacks now. 25,000 on a headshot. And 133, oh, we missed a stack. 143,000 damage on a weak point crit. So, pretty nice. Man, hitting these targets in here be something crazy. So, there you go. As you see, our accuracy definitely has been tanked. So, you know, outside of this person shaking their head all around, we did miss a few shots, which kind of fluctuated our damage. You see, we were going 90,000, 100,000, 140, 90,000, you know what I mean? So we were kind of bouncing around there. But obviously, if you use this on a Colossus fight, you will have more, you'll have a bigger hitbox for their weak points. So it'll be a little bit easier to sustain that 10 stacks. But on enemies like this, you know what I mean? So the reliable DPS, everything else outside of a Colossus fight might be a little rough. Like I said, put that accuracy mod on so that way you can actually hit more of your shots, or your shots will go to where you're aiming and not shaking around all crazy. Like I said, this one will hit harder than this first build, but it's not sustained or quote unquote reliable. You do have a 52 round magazine, which is actually pretty nice. The fire rate on this weapon is already pretty good. So, you know, not a bad build overall. Now, let's say you're like, actually, we'll get to that one actually. So we'll get to the third build. So that's this Real Life Fighter build. Now, let's go over the base stats of this one now. So our firearm attack is 18,910.72. Our fire rate is 705. Rounds per magazine is 52. Reload time is a 2.01 second reload time with a firearm critical hit rate of 18.2%. Firearm critical hit damage of a 5.011 times multiplier. Attribute status effect trigger rate stays the same at 3.85. Weak point damage is a 1.4 times multiplier. Hip fire accuracy is 51.2 and aim shot accuracy 56.88. But like I said, if this is the build that you want to do, obviously you'll catalyze this final slot for Real Life Fighter and then go ahead, which will free you up some space to go ahead and put an accuracy mod in there. So it's up to you. I would, before you make a decision, see what this third build is. So that's this build. If you compare this build to this other build, this build, the first build, more damage, less rounds per magazine, and a little bit lower critical hit rate, but a higher critical hit damage multiplier and a higher weak point damage multiplier. But the second build, although it has less damage, a little bit higher critical hit rate, and lower critical hit damage and weak point damage, it makes up for it just because of Real Life Fighter giving you more firearm attack. So there's that. Yeah. But like I said, I feel like this one really should only be used for like Colossus fights. Don't use it anywhere else because you're not really benefiting from Real Life Fighter to the max, so I wouldn't waste my time using Real Life Fighter anywhere besides Colossus fighting. So there you go. That's build number 2. Now let's check out build number 3. All right, so build number 3. So it's a little bit different. It's a little combination of both build 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and go over this. So we decided to go with Insight Focus to give us that little bit more critical hit chance and a little bit of critical hit damage without reducing our firearm attack by using whatever this is called. What is it called? Edging shot. It's gonna reduce. We're not gonna get as much fire and critical hit rate, but the fire and critical hit rate increase that you get from this, anyways, isn't all that great. So we decided we can live without it. And then we went for better insight for more critical hit rate. We went for concentration priority, better insight, staples in a build, minus 30 reload time. We have weak point sight right here. As you see, although have aiming will give us a 40% weak point damage, it also reduces our what is it actually? It reduces our accuracy. So this build is, I'll explain why I chose what I chose. So we got weak point sight here instead of have aiming. We have action and reaction and rifling reinforcement. Action and reaction is just a staple because it's just too good. The firearm attack increase is just too good to live without. You don't want to really go for the other one, like slow art, because it's going to reduce your fire rate, and nobody wants to shoot slower because then that, you know what I mean? So there's that. We also have concentrate support ammo with a critical hit damage plus of 6.5%. And then we have reload focus. We put reload focus on for, you know, reload time modifier, which will slightly counteract the reload time modifier for the concentration priority, keeping us at a, you know, and then the little plus 6.5% critical hit damage. So that's cool. Now this final slot, as you see right here, it's not leveled up or anything, but your final slot right here, we put in recoil. Our accuracy did not take a hit, and the accuracy of this weapon is already pretty good. So we decided to go for recoil, so that way shooting is, we don't have to really worry about controlling the weapon at all, because it'll pretty much be a laser beam at this point, especially if you upgrade this. So there is no real moving of the weapon in the slightest as you're holding the trigger. So this is the build that we went for. Now, I didn't choose have aiming because this particular build I decided would be your comfort build, right? If you're the type of person that you still want to get some damage out, but you do like your reload speed, you do like, you know, larger magazine size, but you still want to be able to get decent damage out on the team, this will be the build for you. Especially if hitting weak points isn't really your thing, but if you do hit weak points, you will still benefit from weak point sight. That's why we put in weak point sight instead of have aiming, because no reason to have the negative of have aiming just for a 5% weak point damage increase if you're not going to hit weak points as much. So instead of taking the negative, we'll keep the accuracy that this weapon has and just stick with weak point sight. And this build essentially is like, you got to be real with yourself sometimes, right? Sometimes I'm cracked at aiming with the hand cannon, but then there's some days where I'm like, why on earth can I not hit a shot? So I just put it down, right? So we got to be realistic with ourselves sometimes. Some days we're better, some days we're not. And if you're just not good with aiming, this is the build. This is kind of the build for you. You know, it's a well-rounded build. But if you're cracked with aiming, I wouldn't recommend this build. I would go for something that's going to net you more damage. So you got to be real with yourself and figure it out for yourself, like what kind of player you are. So let's go ahead and show you the damage of this build, and then we'll go over the stats. So let's go ahead and take the peeks. So as you see, if you look at our reticle thing right here, pretty tight. Not that way, but so let's go ahead and see the damage. About 17,000, so if you notice, not as much as the other two builds, and 106,000 crits. Still decent damage. Still, like, pretty solid, pretty decent damage. No complaints there at all. Now, we do have that increased fire rate, so let's, you know, we got that increased fire rate with that increased magazine size. And as you see, the damage isn't too far off the other builds. And as you see, we got that 57,000 body shot. And yeah, like not too far off the other two builds when it comes to its damage. I would argue to say that if we're talking about DPS wise, this one is definitely comparable just because you do have increased fire rate with this mod on. and you know what I mean. So, anywho, this is the comfort build for sure, and I would still recommend this build either way. Now let's go ahead and look at the base stats real quick. So we have a firearm attack of 20,504.32, same as build number 1. Our fire rate is oh, I lied to you. We don't have increased fire rate. We have increased reload time. Let's see. What if we put increased fire rate? We cannot. Nah, I don't even want to slot that in to give you the buck. I was gonna say take this one out, put a fire rate mod in. Let's just see what that's looking like. Say if we did that. Wow, did that say 900? 940 fire rate. Wow, that's actually pretty crazy. Let's see. What is that? Yo, what is this? Dude. Y'all seeing this? That is insane. That is absurd. Okay, retract that. So go ahead and do this. Take out this particular slot right here. Dang it, wait, I can't. So take that out and put in a magazine size so that you can have the reload in this. But what we're gonna do is, you're gonna take that out. We're gonna put this in here. We wanna go for more rounds, especially because our fire rate is insane. What can we put here? We'll just slap something in there. So we'll go with recoil and fire on critical hit damage. Save that. So now let's go ahead and see this real quick. Let's see. Your reload time is a little bit slower though. 52 rounds with a 940 fire rate. That's crazy. That is just crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. Now, I love this build. I can't even lie to you. I'm actually rocking with this one. I like it personally. So it's up to you. Too bad I couldn't have like 20 different slot tabs for builds because I would... Oh wait, can you? There ain't no way. You can. I didn't even know. What? I can make another build. Don't tempt me with a good time. Alright, so, anywho, build number 4. This is build number 4. So, alright, build number 4. As you see, all we did was we go ahead and put in magazine size and we put in fire rate. As you see, it didn't really change anything else, but let's say you didn't want the fire rate or the magazine size, which it was amazing, so you should try it. But if you don't want to, go ahead and just go back with your reload time modifier and your magazine size, or you know, whichever magazine size that you want. You're gonna shoot a little bit slower, but you'll reload a little bit faster. It is up to you. So you'll be back at base fire rate, but your reloads are faster, as you can see. Up to you. It's totally up to you, but I cannot lie to you. I did like that other build, so I don't know why I took that off. But we'll put this on, and we'll go ahead and yeah, I'm really liking this one. Not gonna lie. Not going to lie. DPS on this one, actually pretty crazy. So, those are 4 different builds that you can do. Pick whichever one suits you the best, which one you like the best, which one is more fun for you. It's not always about what's the absolute mid-max freaking best, but sometimes you just want to have some fun in there. Obviously, I wouldn't say this is the absolute best build. I do think you can make some tweaks to here and make it a little bit better. Let's say I was to mid-max this thing out. I would take out this particular slot and go ahead and roll in like freaking, I would roll in real life fighter in here. And oh my goodness, this build's going to be freaking cracked. But I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm just not going to do that. But so there you go, guys. Pick whichever one of these 3 builds that you like and go with it. Now, if you are interested in seeing this weapon fully buffed up, let's do that. I really do love this build. This one is so amazing, but we're gonna go with this first build, the weak point build. Obviously in this build, add yourself a little something, whatever the heck you want in here. We'll probably put, yeah, sure, we'll go with that one. So Oh wait, my bad. I didn't show you the final things for this fiery one. So I'll show you the setup for this one and the previous one that I showed you. So anyways, fire attack is 20,504.32 with a 940 fire rate and a 52 round mag, 2.01 second reload time with a 15.35% fire and critical hit rate with a 5.232 times critical hit damage multiplier. Attribute status effect trigger rate stays the same at 3.85%. Weak point damage is only a 1.35 times multiplier. Hip fire accuracy 64, aim shot accuracy 71. Pretty solid, pretty good build. Now let's say we went back with this other one that I showed you previously. Let's go ahead and save that one. So once again, firearm attack 20,504.32 with only a 705 base fire rate, which is still good, and a 45 round magazine because we went for concentrate support ammo for the critical hit damage. Our firearm critical hit rate is a 15.35% with a firearm critical hit damage of a 5.435 times multiplier. Our attribute status effect trigger rate stayed the same at 3.85%, and our weak point damage is a 1.35 times multiplier. Hip fire accuracy 64 and aim shot accuracy 71.11. So those are these. This one's more of the comfort build. This one right here is more for the wanting to squeeze out pretty high DPS. Now I will say you could take this fire rate out and go ahead and slap yourself probably one of these other mods depending on what you want. Do you want weak point? Do you want critical hit rate? Or do you want I wouldn't do critical hit rate because as you see it's only a 0.15% increase. So let's say you put critical hit damage in there, cool, you can do that. Or you just want more fire rate, go for this one. This one is more for a pretty good DPS over time. Damage per second on this one is actually pretty good. I will say the damage per second on this one will actually be good. It'll be beneficial for you. Build number 2. This one's mainly geared towards weak points. So if you have really good aim and you want to just do like Colossus fighting, I would say do real life fighter. And I would say to optimize this build to the max, take this part out and go ahead and put in a fire rate. Assuming that you have the aim for real life fighter in the first place, you would put a fire rate mod in there. You'll be pretty good. Build number 1 is for a sustained, pretty good DPS over, whatever period of time that you're fighting, just because you'll have really good weak point damage base and it won't fluctuate, especially if you miss a couple shots or, you got a dodge, roll, revive or something like that. You won't lose any stacks. This one is a sustained damage build. This one is pretty good, and this will be the build that we're gonna max buff and test. So that way, since this one will be like the highest weak points and stuff like that, and we're just looking at per shots here, really. I'm not showcasing DPS, so we're just gonna look at maximum damage that the Divine Punishment can put out. So we're gonna use this build. Any of the 4 builds that I showed you are amazing. I can promise you, you're not gonna. The Divine Punishment just isn't an assault rifle that's going to dish out stupid numbers like the Eternal Willpower. It just wasn't built that way, but this weapon is still pretty good. Alright, 15 stacks of glory, max stack with Blair, so let's go ahead and see what we're doing. 180,000. Not too bad, right? 180,000 damage. Not too freaking bad. Now let's go ahead and change the faction to the absolute dog waters so that way we can see bigger numbers. So there we go. Alright. See that? 419,000 damage. Y'all see that, right? That 419? Pretty good. Pretty freaking good. Okay. Alright, look. I know I said I wasn't going to test any other build, but I do want to test that fire rate build out. I just want to see what it's looking like, okay? Just because, that one's kind of funny. I do like the fact that an assault rifle has 940 fire rate. That's kind of insane to me. But let's go ahead and see. Alright, so let's go ahead and see. We got all of our stacks and everything, so let's go and see. So we're getting about, what is that, 300? About 334,000 So less damage, but look at this. Look at that. Tell me the DPS on that just isn't insane. So that's not crazy. I find that just insane. Look at this. It's kind of giving me, it's reminding me of the shotgun. So yeah, I want to say thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, because I know you're going to subscribe if you haven't already. And that's it for me. So watch this gameplay to see this weapon in action. And until next time.